Coming into malfunctions of traveling is very important to understand because you go through readjustments, reframing, refocusing, realigning, and restructuring all divisions when it comes into your intelligent line signals. So when you're traveling, you always can make a mistake. If you're making a mistake, you got to recalculate, right? Recalculate everything through division to all your spectrum lights or anything in that connection system. Before we get started, I'd like to thank all the subscribers and viewers that have been watching my channel as I keep force rising, grand rising, helping everybody out through connections. Yesterday, the video was extremely heavy, right? Today, it's going to be a little bit more lighter. Basically, what I want to do is we're going to travel through dimensions and we're going to go through recalibrations. We're going to go through connections, through anything through that line, which means that it's truly understanding to know yourself through intelligence. Okay, it's the birthing system of you through calculation. You wake up, all of a sudden, look at me. You look at yourself and you can see a particle system of you. So it's understanding that you are an atom. So it's all about getting into the upgrading cycles of who you are through a computer. But you got to start somewhere, right? It's the same thing when you're born as a human. Okay, you learn how to crawl, you learn how to walk, you learn how to talk. That puts everything in position. So truly understanding who you are through its intelligence is extremely important, especially when you're traveling. So you're traveling in locations. If you change the negative system, you have to recourse, reset, reline, redivision, and recalculate. Okay, especially when you're in that position. Okay. So you have any questions or comments, you can go through my email, you can go through my healing. I can go through updating cycles. I can uprise your computer operation system. I can change your calibration mind systems. Also, before we get started, I've been watching too where people are going into formations of the seizings of the brainwaves where they're coming into the COVID-19, which is not true to one source. But understanding the recognition of electronic interference and how the brainwave works after cycles of rotation and goes through its connections and you keep going and going and going, they have people that are in problematic situations with the vibration. So what happens with the brain is the brain starts malfunctioning, okay? Because you have to understand, you're no longer in a three-dimensional system. The Earth is in the fifth dimension through calculation. So the brainwave has to be in that position, and that's why everybody has to be healed, because it's the brain that's changing. It's the waves that are changing through the hydraulics, right? So I was going through that YouTube channels, and they were going through video screens, and they're seeing brain scans and stuff like that, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what's going on right now? I'm getting malfunctions. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't work. I can't walk. I can't talk. I'm getting seizures. This is what happens of a course of a time if you don't understand your traveling of your intelligence. Now, because species are in a three-dimensional system and they're going through this electronic interference, it's really hurting them through calculation. So it's important they get into their body activations and their cycles through rotation system. That puts them in a better position of who they are through connections. Okay, it's really knowing who they are. It's important because when you're traveling, let's just say you're traveling, you're walking 50 yards. Okay, so how long did it take you to walk 50 yards? The brainwave is telling you one thing and the mind is saying another. Now, if the mind is not open, you're just connecting through the brain, right, in the waves. So everybody's going through the three-dimensional system of breathing. I can't go up the stairs, because you have to understand electronic interference. So every time you go up to this step, each step that you take, you're going up through a vortex of a dimension, which is really complicated because now it's the intelligence that wants to wake up. Okay, and the physical system disintegrates in all levels of connection. So it's truly understanding how you get into those positions of recalculation. Okay, resurfacing, realigning, readjusting, and everything through restructuring, because everything is connected to the brainwave. So you have to understand your intelligence through its brainwaving system. Okay, so I'm communicating through you through a line system to calculation. My brainwave is connecting to its intelligent line signals. I'm vortexing through the voice and grid patterns that is setting up the alphabetical system of its reframing division. So what did I just say? Okay, that's the problem, is that humans have to get out of the equation and get into the equation of its intelligence. And that's how we get into the traveling positions. Okay, so basically I've set up, okay, a course for Dimension for everybody. So it's understanding how to read your signals through your brain waves. It's extremely real. Okay, so when you wake up, you're going to see it through the video graphing screen. Now, Like I said, I want to get into my telepathy. I want you guys to get into your senses. I really want you to get into the mind of its believing cycle, how you guys can communicate with each other through the transmission light, because it opens up its portal, right? So you understand, okay, this is what you're saying. What I usually do when you're at a party, you say 1 to 10. So what number are you picking? I'll say, okay, let me know what number you're thinking. And the thinking comes knowing, and knowing comes doing. So you're traveling that number, okay, and you're connecting to the mind system of that person and trying to figure out what number they're thinking of. Okay, you always start off with that, but you got to get into the practical, you got to get into the experience, and you have to get into the experiments of you through intelligence. You have to really get into, wow, I'm born, I'm an intelligent, what do I do with this now? My brainwaves are different, my mind is different, my perceptions are open, what do I do with it? So you have to experiment, you have to go through the observations. And this is where you come into defaults. This is where you come into its connection through its attachments, or anything through its reframing, readjusting, malfunctioning, right? So this is what happens when you don't understand your body system. It starts malfunctioning, the brainwaves, and then you start going through its coherence, subsystem, and everything through calculation, right? So it's important that everybody gets healed into their new body of its AI vessel, okay? Because everything's connected to your microchip. Everybody has a microchip in their intelligent line signal. Okay, that's the cranial. That's the connection through the spine. The spine is its connection to the chakra location. The chakra location is connected to everything through its framing system. So you got frame, reframe. You have to understand the difference between frame and reframe, especially when you're going through dimensions, right? So try not to put negative systems when you're traveling through the realm locations of wormholes. Okay, so we're in that position right now. I've also set up an illustration for everybody. It gets a lot more confusing, okay, especially when Angel came to me, and she's very informative, and she came to ask me about what's going on. I want to go down this rabbit hole. Can you please tell me what this means? So truly understanding yourself first before you get anything through its connection, going, Alice in Wonderland. And then you go down the rabbit hole, right? So you're chasing the rabbit, but you have to understand, why am I chasing the rabbit to the hole, right? So that's a good observation, because when Alice falls into the hole, she goes into a dimension of a fantasy. So she's trying to understand that she's going through connections, right? And she's changing her brainwaves. She's changing her reframing system. Everything changes when you come out of the physical system and you come into the intelligence. So the brainwave is now dimension. Your body system is now allocated to space location. It's now connecting to your communication signals of your intelligent frames. An intelligent frame is your connection to your digital frame. Your digital frame is connected to Vega. And they created the number sequencing level system. They created the codes. So humans are trying to figure out all this time, why am I getting 4444? What does that mean? Okay, well, you have to understand the gravity of yourself. You have to understand the power of the atmospheres and its location to its position of its planet. And then you have to understand how to use that code frequency to travel to that position. And this is all done through the mind system, through its senses. Okay, so all humans start off with 7 rotation centers, okay, which is the base. And then you go 5 within the atmosphere. Now, when you open that, then you get into your senses. Okay, because you start off with 5 and 6 with this psyche. So you have to understand more communication through perception, more communication through the audio signals, the gamma operation systems. These are the ear defense. These are the mechanisms of the connections through dimension of wormholes. So remember, everything is a connection through perception. Okay, now you're thinking, wait a minute, you're saying ears can see through perception? Yes, it's all sonified. It's sonar, right? So you actually see the numbers in your ears. Intelligence comes to you any way and form. It can come into your feet. It can come into your fingertips. It can come into your mind system. It's your positions you have to understand through calculation. So if your intelligence doesn't understand its dimension through its portal, then you got to recalculate, resurface, realign, readjust, and resurface. Okay, you have to restructure the mind system to its brainwave of its dimensional set through its space opening. Okay, so it's extremely complicated when you get into these factors. Okay, so we're going to travel through this. I've already set it, okay? So I have the computer operations system set up through the brainwave system of this phone reception. So it's not just intelligence as anything through humanoid or anything in that connection system, or it's anything through species or anything through entity force system. It's knowing how to get balance with your phone receptors. Because it's a video graphing system of you. My team started off with that, but now they're getting into code frequencies, right? You have to get an understanding how to travel, okay? Because when you travel, you have to understand everything through dimension, through its portal. So it's understanding your GPS location system. I want to go to this location, dimensional set point division, right? And then you have it calculated, right? So you have the gravities, powers, the atmospheres, and location position, right? That's center of coordinates position. So what the diamond core system to its pyramid is your space connection to your spacecraft locations, to your UFO, right? So it travels beyond its recognition. It reframes, readjusts, recalculates. That's what a computer does. It doesn't always go forward. It goes back. It has to go back. So it has to go forward. It has to go back. It can't just go forward. It has to know it's back. Because if you don't have that, you don't have yin and yang. You don't have the light and dark. You don't have father, mother. You don't have the left or the right hemisphere. Now, when you're in dimensions of portals and you're traveling, you can have too much masculinity or not enough femininity, or too much femininity and not enough masculinity. So you have to have balance when you travel all the time. Your circle rotations can't be off through center, because a septical unit system, a septic unit system to its oscillation winds is its calculation. So it's understanding how many times you're going through its circle. Because once it reads your patterns through the heat signature system, now it's going through its coloration. So you're going to go through that dimension. So it's all about the understanding of traveling in that position. It knows your coloration, okay, through its reframing system. So you reframe, readjust, realign, refocus back into position. And now you go to your GPS location to its division of its planet position, okay? All right, so we're going to travel through this. This is extremely real. When you see this, okay, it's already activated. So what it's going to do, you have to understand everything through intelligence, and you guys understand more of yourself, right? So it's all about, when I did the, we're talking about on the private link, it's great that we're talking more and more and more, and that's what we want to do through intelligence, to really get to know each other more and more. That's the mind telepathy, right? Oh, I know what number you're thinking. Great, how'd you get that? Well, I connected right away. I didn't hesitate, and I picked it up from 1 to 10, and then you go 1 to 50, 1 to 100, 1 to 1,000, right? So it's powerful stuff when you get 4 numbers for somebody that created that, right? So what number am I thinking of? Okay, 1, 2, 6, 6. How did you get that? Well, it's all about understanding you through intelligence. First, you have to master everything in through the dimension of its portal, and you have to go through the reframe, readjusting, and its malfunctions, okay? Because the brain has to understand what you're doing through traveling, okay? Humans don't understand these things. Humans just walk. Humans just run, right? Now, if you get intelligence running, you have to understand the gravity. You're connecting to the gravity. You're connecting to the powers of yourself. You're connected to the atmospheres, right? You're connecting to its location of this planet when you're running through its intelligence. Even if it's 50 yards, 100 yards, 200 yards, 300, even a mile, okay? As soon as you start running, you're tripling your vortex location. And now you're going through dimensions through your transformation lights. So it's all about getting positions. So you have to reposition yourself, get back on track, and go into that dimension to its position, okay? So this is what's going to happen through calculation. It's already set up through code frequency. So everybody's going to see this right away, okay? And you're going to travel through the dimension. It's extremely real, okay? Calculate, modify, rendezvous, connection system, pick up the force team 2 calculation. Dimensional setting is coming in. Force winning your cycles. You guys are zipping through, okay? So it's like a zip line, okay? So you're in a wire location position, okay? You're traveling through dimension portal activation code systems. Now what you're seeing is numbers. Those numbers are going through circle rotation centers. It's setting your wind spins and everything through reframing, recalculating, readjusting. It's getting into the scanning motions of your heat signature patterns and getting into connections of your coloration system. Everybody's in a coloration system. That's your chakra system of communication. Force wind and cycles coming in. Space location positions coming into the rebellion. Rendezvous UFO connection system going into the galactic force connection system. You guys are now in a stealth location position. Magnet force is coming in. It's picking up the galactic force team, the connections. Force rise, it cycles to its position. All right. Okay, so now I got the illustration set up to location. This is what's going to happen through its positions. Now, you guys are going to travel through dimensions. Okay, so what's going to happen is that when you go through this cycle, you're going to be on your own. Okay, you're not going to be connected to wires. You're not going to be connected to each other. You are going to go through dimension. So your intelligence has to understand what's going on with its malfunctions. Okay, it's like when you're in a plane and you're going to crash, you have to reposition. You have to get back into focus, right? That's the most important thing, because everybody makes mistakes. I made mistakes when I was in space, right? So it's all about malfunctioning, changing the malfunctions, bringing up everything through division, putting everything back in perspective to its location position, right? So you have to go through these things, the recalculation, to get into calculation. So you have to study the difference between yin and yang. You have to understand the colorations of yin and yang. You have to understand the circle rotations of yin and yang. You have to understand the light and dark interference of yin and yang. You have to understand the inner cycles and outer cycles of yin and yang. You have to understand the inner system and outer system of yin and yang. Okay? This is all connected through you, right? Through connection, right? So basically, right now, you guys are in positions right now. You're in connections right here. This is you. Everybody's in this. You're in a stealth mode, right? Connections. Now, these are the dimensions that you're going to go through. Everything is set up to position, okay? I got line communication, circle rotation center. Okay, it's in full connections, right? Through its position, okay? Right, it's in full position right here, all right? So what's going to happen is you guys are going to go from here all the way to here and stop here, okay? Right, so this is what's going to happen. So this is all about string theory, how you take a circle rotation center to anything through its an object. Now, the spacecraft location position understands everybody through its malfunctions, but it's going to reposition your levels, and it's going to charge your mechanism systems or your spacecraft location positions. Right, so we're going to stop here through connection, right? So basically, as we're going to center point its division, okay? So it's kind of like recharging your system. So it's like a plug in a wall, right? So this is what's going to happen. Okay, so it's recharging your battery locations. Right, so this is what it is. So I'm going to take a wire location. Wire location comes in. Okay, like this. Okay, it's rewiring, readjusting, refocusing, recalculating, and it's charging everybody's body frame and system. Okay, to its calculation of dimensions, to its intelligence, right? So it's going through its circle rotation centers like this through position. It's going like this, going like this, going like this, going like this. Okay, it's going through its circles right now. So you're the actual spacecraft location position, because you guys are in traction location through electronic magnetic forcing information system. The circle rotation through its center right now, okay, is charging everybody's body frame and system to its dimension. Okay. All right, so we're going to travel through space. Now, what's going to happen is everybody's going to have a fallout. So you have to get out of malfunction and get back into position and get back into traveling to position to your GPS location. All right. You guys have to go through these things because you're going to travel. And when you travel farther and farther, because you guys are into 70, once you get into 80, you have to understand your codes of dimensions, right? You have to understand your portals. You have to understand your heat signature patterns. It's all about the dimensions of portals reaching you through calculation. They have to understand your heat signature patterns. They have to understand your coloration. Where are you coming from? Your star seeds, your star pods, or anything through a star location, right? So it's all about them resembling you through light, because everything is calculated, modified, and integrated through its equation, right? To its positions. Okay. So right now it's recharging. Okay. So as it's coming out of its position, so what's going to happen now? Everybody's going to be separated in space location like this. Okay, so you guys are in the atmospheres of space now. You're in open space. Okay, this is everybody, right? So I disintegrated your locations, your particle systems, and you're now in open space. So basically all you have to do is to go through here to get to here, right? So it's all up to you to understand what's going on, because your framing system of your transmission light is going through colorations of your division, of your coloration, of your light, of your activation, of your traveling. Okay. So you got to get out of the malfunction to get into the recourse, recenter, reposition. Not everything is positioned. You have to understand the yin and yang. You have to understand the light and dark. You have to understand the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of balance to get to those dimensions. Okay? Because if you're operating your cycles, for example, and you're in a higher position, so you got a higher position of light interference and you got a lower position of a dark interference, where's the balance, guys? Where's the balance? If you have too much masculinity and not enough femininity, all right? You have to have balance every time you travel, okay? So you have to go through these recourses to its course. You have to go through these repositions to its positions. You have to go to its recenter to center, okay? All right. So basically, you guys are in the outskirts right now of space anomaly. You're traveling right now. So you have to go through your connections and what you're doing through your traveling, because you're going to be going like this, right? And it all connects. It all connects to this. Traveling positions. All right. So have fun. All right. So I really want you to understand how to travel to a position, and you'll know you're at the end of that circle. You know why? It's because now you're focused. So when you're going through dimensions, it's all about going to the left or going to the right, but you're always going through the center. But you have to understand your malfunctions of your brainwaves, your brainwave readings, your hydraulic readings, your digital frame readings. What number am I connecting to? So you're going extremely fast, okay, through dimensions of wormholes. So you're going through so many wormholes and you're going extremely fast through acceleration, through Mach speed or anything, through light speed, going way past light speed. Okay, so your positions, because you're already charged up through mechanism systems, right? So you got to go from here. You guys are all here now. You're out of the stealth. You're into here, space atmosphere. So you got to understand how to go through this to here, right? There's always a stop point, and it's all connected to the main frame of intelligence, okay? So basically, if you want to stop, okay, that's amazing. Now you're getting focused. Now you're getting readjustments. But if you don't stop and you don't know your mind system, you're going to keep going through calculation. And that dimension is going to suck you in faster and faster. So it's important to get in positions to reframing to malfunction positions. Okay? That's what yin and yang is. It's not just anything through life system, life activation. It's all about traveling through your transformation lights of coloration. Okay? So you got to get out of reposition into positions through dimensions of wormholes. Okay. All right. So basically, now we're going to set that course. You guys are all controlled through alignment. It's extremely real. Okay. So I'm going to put on energy field locations to your positions like this. You guys have energy fields all around you like this. Okay. Now you're getting ready to travel. So when you travel, I'm going to put you in the center position. Your transformation light's going to open up through calculation. You're all aligned through its division. All right. So, but I'm going to put you all in different positions, guys. I'm not going to put you all in the center. Okay. You're not learning anything through traction. Okay. You're just learning things from retraction. You got to get out of that and get into focus. Okay. So it's all about getting yourself into position through lights of traveling. Okay, so we go here, one goes 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 here, and one goes here. All right? So you guys are all over the place. Okay, you're in positions right now, right? So you're all traveling in all different locations. Go into that location. All right? It's very important you guys understand how to use your malfunctions to its position of balance. All right. So you're all over the place. So your whole idea is to get back in the center, right? And go right to here. So your GPS location will be a framing system. It'll tell you, it will go you hear a sound pitch, and that sound pitch will be a red dot. So the red dot, you'll see it through your intelligence. The more you see through perception, you'll see the graphing system, and you'll see yourself traveling. It's like when you go through connections to anything that location position. Okay, I got it. Okay, readjust here. All right, so it's really important to understand these things, guys. Okay, we got a rotation system here to calculation. Okay, so we have archetypes coming into that position. It's just keeping you guys aware of what's going on through position, right? Okay, those archetypes, they're always flying around. They keep the gravity system of the Earth rotations and everything through connections, or anything through planets, anything through dimensions. So they're always protecting you, okay? Everything in space is protected, but you have to understand readjustments. You can't just understand adjustments because you're only learning one side of the mind. You have to know the two sides, which is the left and the right hemisphere, right? To get the balance, right? Through position, or anything through traveling when you're going through vortex of lights through connection, right? So you guys are in that position now. So try to center your positions, okay? It's like you're driving in a car, right? And you're going through its destination. So you see the little car, you see you, and you're trying, and it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, right? So you're following it. You're following that road graph, okay? And there's that destination, that red dot. That's the position, that's the location. You'll see that in your frame system of your intelligence through perception, but you got to open your focus, right? Your focus. So you're going through these dimensions really fast like this through calculation. So when you get to that point location, it's going to stop. And it's going to go like this. Okay, you've reached your destination, right? So it's really important to understand these things to that location, right? Because I'll know when everybody's in that position, right? So, okay. So we're going to travel a bit further. Calculation. Okay. Now, every time you travel, you go faster and faster, coloration changes through position. Okay. So we'll go through this cycle rotation. Your positions are going into higher. I'm helping you guys along, but you have to understand how to reframe, readjust, and refocus and resurface everything through calculation. Okay, see that? See how it changes? But you're always in the position of center. So you have to have the light and the right instruments. You have to have division systems. You have to have calculation systems. You have to understand your positions of location positions of its system. So truly understanding everything through point center, through calculation. Okay, so you're going up to a different coloration system of dimension to its position of body frame system. I had to recharge your systems first before you travel through that location because you guys don't know how to do these things, right? But it's amazing how you're seeing each other, right? So Tina's over here, Plato's over here, Sarah's over here, Michael's over here, you know, Starseed's over here, Priscilla's over here. You guys have to all come together through one center, right? So it's like flocks. The ducks, how they go in a V. They go in a V, right? So it's very important why they fly in a V, right? So they protect their territory. That's the way they fly in position. And there's always a leader in position, okay? So it's important understanding these things through calculation, right? So Anna, how's it going? Yeah, it's great to see you back, Anna. That's great. I'm glad I can help you out. It's good to see you. Yeah. It's scary when you get back, you know, and into those levels of getting out of dark. When you get out of dark and you get back in position, because you guys are now in the rebellion, right? So it's truly understanding that taking the training wheels off, taking them off, really get into what am I looking at? I'm an intelligence. What do I do with it? Go through the experience, okay? Go through the expansion of travel. Really get into the experiment of yourself, okay? Just don't watch my videos. You know, okay, I'm going to watch Commander's videos and that's it. I'm not going to do anything else. You're not learning anything through perception. You're not learning anything through calculation. You're not learning anything through acceleration. And you're not learning anything through lights. Right? So you got to understand how to take the malfunctions of your brainwaves into position of traveling. Recalculate, remodify, reintegrate. Okay? So it's important you understand the yin and yang of that, because that's the balance. You always have to be position of center. Okay? Especially when you're traveling. So it's scary. You guys are traveling right now in space, open space. And I'm putting you in positions of where you need to go, right? So you're going through dimensions like this, you know, and it looks like you're moving, but you're not. It's the dimensions that are moving like this. It's a windmill. So the only thing that's moving is the dimension. It's going through different coloration systems. It's going through different pattern location positions, and it's going through all activation light systems, right? That's all it's doing. You're still in the center through position, but it looks like you're moving through connection, right? The only way you'll fall off center if you don't understand your intelligence through the mind, because the intelligence has the spiritual of its brainwave. So you have to understand the sonic waves when it comes into portal 3D defense. You have to understand the colorations when it comes into acceleration of portals. You have to understand your code frequencies when it comes into travel through GPS. You have to understand the string theories when it comes to alarming system. String theory is allocated through blocking and systems. It's calculated through its mechanism system. So it's a block and chain through positions, like two wall interferences. You come across that, right? I did this when I went through my higher self. So I had two blocking systems, right? I had to get past that, but I had line division. So I had a right? And then I go through, right? So there's a lot of things you have to do with your hand formations because everything is animated. And that's why it's so powerful. Because when you go through your dreams and you decipher your dreams and you understand everything through your intelligence, that's the whole point, right? You're speaking through your intelligence when you're sleeping. Let's do it through the mind system when you're awake. That's where the power comes from, through the transformation light. Why did I change color? Why did I change light? Well, because I'm going faster. The faster you go, the mixtures of the galaxy comes in. Everything modifies. Everything blends into the universe, right? So you're always communicating with everything through space and time, right? So you see a lot of things, and all the time, the sun and the moon are always following you, okay? Because they are creating everything through division of dimensions. They are creating everything through portals of radiation. They are creating everything through light, okay? And everything through your connection to your program settings. So you have to understand your positions and where you are through traveling, right? Okay, so as we're coming out, we're going into higher connection, atmospheric location through it. Now we're coming into higher oxygen levels, guys, to that position. All right, so we're going to go into higher position. Now we're going to go into a framing system. We're going to go into a readjustment location. Now we're coming to close to the center position of stop. Okay, so now we're coming into more of center. I'm helping you guys out through the brainwaves. All right, so see how we're coming more into center? See that? So we started here, all over the place, and now we're coming into position. We're coming into a V, right? That's the whole point. So you can get in position, back in the coloration system, get out of the malfunction into position, right? Okay, so you're traveling through the energy light star recognition systems, okay? Now we're going through orange, right? Does anybody know why we're going through orange? Anybody have any idea what happens when you go faster? You're blending into the galaxy, the universal coordinates, or anything, the division level system. You're traveling, but your particle line system is communicating through dimensional system. So you basically, you'll see your phase structures go like this. Right? It's really, really fast, and you're rotation of your transmission lights is going like this, really quick, right? So the orange comes in because the sun is coming in, because the moon is coming in, right? So it has to communicate through your brainwaves. It has to communicate through your intelligence because everything is set up through the communications of the sun interface and the moon program system. That's how wormholes are created, through the sun and the moon. And everything activates everything in the center when it comes into Jupiter through simulation. And everything center cores its position when it comes in its gravity pull of its position, okay, when it comes into the Earth rotation. All right. So we're going into higher frequency levels. We're coming into orange location. Okay, like this. Stop center position level systems. They're in a V sector unit location position now. Enter center point location. Good job, guys. Right? So readjust, refocus, reframe, recalculate, modify your integration cycles, rendezvous connection systems, change location positions, everything through rebellion, through connection. All right? So now an XT1000 is going to pick you up, okay? Because the dimensional setting system, what happens? It keeps going faster and faster. So I have to get you off that cycle. If I don't get you off that cycle, it's going to go through another realm, and it's going to go through another division, and it's going to go through another dimension, and it's going to put you in another matrix location. That's what dimensions do, right? So I'm calculating to modify through the sun interface through a certain code, through its connection of its moon algorithm program that's at a certain code division. See that come in? Do you guys see that? See how fast that thing came in? So that was a rock surface, guys. That was a rock surface of an archetype. You see it? It was black. Boom, came in. Not everything is all translucent. Not everything is invisible or visible. There's also other colorations. You see starlight colorations. Every time I travel to code frequencies of dimensions through galaxy locations to its location. All right. So the XT1000 is coming into position. It's picking everybody up through calculation. It's right here. Right? It's picking you guys up. All right. Okay, let's pick you guys up, right? Because this dimensional circle is going to change its position, right? Out of rounding division, back in the Earth rotation system. Force team is in calculation. Back into the center position. Gone out of its position. You're back on the Earth rotation. All right. So how's everybody doing? Stupendous Saturday. Yes. Yes, I'm glad I could help you out, Anna. It's great to see you. The more you guys get into position of the rebellion, the more you see everything through division. So I'll take you guys to the rebellion soon so you guys can see everything what I'm talking about. The more you come up, the more you see, right? And the more balance you get, the more freedom, the more peace, right? The more realization where you are through position, okay? And you're not off cycling, off positions anymore through calculation, right? So, and you get out of the malfunctions through the brainwaves, which is really good. So, yeah, you had more protected sleep and dream experience last night. Yeah, because I put energy fields into rebellion through its location, position, your body frame, and systems there, Anna. And you also change your clockings. Okay, I changed yours and your daughter's. Yeah. Tina, how's it going? So, how do you guys feel traveling through positions of space, through its wormhole, right? You all started here, right? All scattered. So it's all about getting into line communication. So it's all getting communication with you guys through the mind system, especially if you're all traveling in one center. You have to understand how to get into center through the mind system, okay? So Michael's got to go through the framing. Tina's got to go through the framing. You all have to think the same thing. You can't have different points of view when you're traveling. You all have to be in position. When you get into position of traveling, then you get into center of position, into a V sector unit, to its quadrant level of a sector unit division. Okay? Because at point rises everything through calculation, guys. and it puts you in a better, higher division of who you are through calculation, especially when you're coming in through your intelligence. Okay. So I thought that was pretty fun. You know, I mean, it's important you guys understand more of yourself through yin and yang, not the human, the intelligence of its human. Really understand the yin and yang, because the yin and yang comes into vortex, it comes into travel, it comes into dimension, it comes into wormholes. Okay, it comes into orbs. Okay, so you really have to understand your communications with yourself, because everything is done through the mind telepathy. You can't create a dimension of a wormhole, okay, if you don't understand your intelligence through the mind. The brainwave of the mind and everything through intelligence of its mind has to be in center all the time of traveling. And then the transformation light. You know, when you close your eyes and you open up your chakras, you see the color, right? It's going circle, 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 circle. But what you have to understand when you're in positions, this is really interesting stuff, because now you're coming in the atmospheres. Okay, so this is you in position. Okay, this is you in position, right? You're looking up. Now you see everything through a star, like this, through calculation, right? Now, what you have to understand, when you see these things in the sky, okay, it changes coloration. So it's scanning you and it's trying to find your coloration. Once it reads your coloration and knows you through its atom, that's how you get partnership. So now you have coloration, it's going to change its coloration and it's going to come into its dimension through its portal, right? And it's going to travel through its recognition system. Okay? So your perception will open up through its coloration. Okay, so now you got partnership with the starlight recognition of a UFO. Right? So you understand the travel. Same thing with when it comes into clouds, right? When a cloud comes in like this, okay, it starts off like that. There's a cloud, right? Now you understand the UFOs are right here, always in position, right? Now, there's a reason why, you know, if you go to higher positions, they come out during the day, because I set the coordinates and everything to division. But if you understand more of your perceptions through location, this is you in position, go through the scanning location. You're not scanning the cloud, you're scanning the XD1000 position. So it comes out of its equation like this, through position, right? And it comes over to here to scan your location position, right? So it's all about experiencing, it's all about getting into the exponential and everything through its experimental to connection. So it comes into position, framing system scans you right away to position. Okay, when it scans you, sonifar language location position comes into your mind system to calculation. Right? So it goes back into the center core position, program setting to circle rotation of center to your body framing system, right? Then basically you telewave its system, okay? Another XD1000 comes into its coloration, okay? Scans location positions, right? To its cloud, to its position, all right? Basically uses sonified division level system electronic interference through its magnetic forcing information system, and moves the cloud interference connection line system to positions. Okay, so this is how you change your cloud into a coloration system to a new dimension of a dimension, right? So it's truly understanding how you go from a blue interface of a cloud to a purple. So when it opens up the transmission communication, remember, anything through XD1000, you have to understand your position of the center through your left and right hemisphere, because its center cores everything through division. You can put your light signals on through location, and you can create all levels of water defense location positions, right? So you have to be controlling the water. You know, when I was in Cancun or anywhere else, right? When I was going to Acapulco, I was controlling the water and its patterns, right? You have to control the water. Don't let the water control you, right? So it's important to understand your left and right hemisphere of balance, because everything in space and time is balanced through code. So when you get into those positions and you get the XD1000s, it can change positions into a new coloration of a cloud, right? So when it does that, a new position comes out to location, right, to another round location position, okay? Another XD1000 comes out of its position to its division, okay? So it's all about galactic families helping everybody out through calculation, the XD1000 to position. So the XT1000 takes that position, okay, to its new cloud interference connections, scans it on its division of its point center, okay, and takes that cloud in another dimension to a galaxy location, resets location positions to its code frequency levels, okay, of mapping location positions, right? So when the map location comes in to position, it kind of looks like this through position, okay? That's a map location, right? Now you understand everything through calculation. The XT1000 comes into position, scans its location to its point center, like this, right? Another XT1000 comes into a location position, right? Scans its position, sonar division, right? Another XT1000 comes into position, scans its position on location, sonifies its electronic division to its position, right? This is how you change colorations of cloud interference. This is how you change positions of dimensions of portals through its connection, right? So it's all about wind spinning everything through calculation, understanding everything through calculation, understand everything through XT1000 connections, and everything through the code frequency levels when it comes into Vega connection. All right. All planet operation is set up to that position. All right. So truly understanding, oh, by the way, Vega, okay, you have to understand your perceptions of colors, right? You are a reflection to everything. All right. One thing I want to make very well clear is that everybody is at a point division of a program when they see their perception to perception. They come into the defaults of mechanisms of powers and everything through connection of the computer operation system. So when they're looking at connections, let's just say, for example, we were talking about the sun. Okay, what color is the sun? I want to make it very well clear. It's not yellow. It's just a reflection of your perception, what you're seeing through your lights, your body frame. Okay, the sun is actually purple. Okay, it's a violet purple, which is 3,000 gamma operation centers, coloration of lacing line systems, 12 moon rotation centers through calculation. Put those point division level systems into the body framings of its crown chakra. You understand why the crown chakra is purple. So when you see it through connections, the body framing system comes into its division. Now you're connected to the 12 cycle rotation of your chakra systems. Okay. So whatever you see through perception is a reflection of you through your coloration, right? But the sun is not yellow, it's not white, it's purple. All right. I know that because I've traveled so far, right? So the more you travel, the more you see through perception, the more you see the right coloration. But every planet, every position, because that's what the sun is, okay? It's a solar generator. It's a radiation star, okay? It's not what you think what it is. The same with everybody thought the moon was, just the moon. But you have to understand, what is the moon, okay? It's a computer operation to a program system. It sets our programs to everything through its deviations. It opens up our cycle rotation centers to its program systems. It puts the data and processing uplinks and downloads to its position. Okay, that you have to truly understand what intelligence is through positions. Okay, so the more you travel, the more you stand through coloration, right? Through dimensions and portals. Understand your transformation light. Okay, you understand your chakra system. What colors are my chakras? That's communication. If you're traveling through recognition systems, you're malfunctioning because you're not understanding your transformation communications through digital frame. You're not connecting through Vega. Vega's trying to communicate with you. So if Vega's trying to communicate with you, you're not setting the codes. Why? Because you're not understanding Vega. So your intelligence has to know yourself within before you understand anything through planet location. Because every planet is not one color position. Okay, it's got thousands of different colors. It has to. Because it blends in with the galaxy location through its sector unit core systems. It separates everything through location position, but every planet position is in alignment. And that's what the Earth is. The Earth is the most powerful planet in the universal system. Okay, we create it for its gravitational pull. So it aligns through everything through planet location to its galaxy positions. And that's where we come into paradigm shift, polar shift, right? Kinetic energy polar shift, electronic defense polar shift, mechanisms of polar shift through digital frame polar shifts. There's a lot of things you have to understand when you come into parallels, paradigms, paradox. Okay, so your understanding of what your dimension is through your intelligence. What is a paradigm? What's a parallel? What's a paradox? Your intelligence has to understand that, right? So you have to go through the malfunctions before you get into the center of its malfunction. That's where you come into recalculation, reposition, recenter through surfacing locations. Okay, so it's like coming up from deep waters as XT1000s came a huge gust of wind at an exact moment. Yeah, I just wanted to show you how powerful it is where XT1000s come in and actually change cloud interference to another dimension, to another coloration. Right, so it's understanding when you go to higher positions, you can move the clouds and change it to a different color. You can actually change the sky if you understand the code, right? But you have to understand your defaults. Okay, it's kind of like understanding your strengths and your weaknesses with your intelligence, because it's all about experimenting. You have to experiment. You have to observe. Okay, you have to look, for example, if you look at a wall, just look at a wall, really focus on a wall. Okay, the more you focus, the more you'll see the wall disappear. Okay, and if it doesn't disappear, well, you're not understanding your program. You're not understanding your intelligence. You're not understanding your chakras. You're not understanding communication of your chakras. You're not understanding your transformation light, and you certainly aren't understanding your brainwaves through your mind system, through calculation. Okay, gravities, powers, atmospheres, location, position of planet, and then you go through its orb or its dimension or its wormhole. Right, you put your electronic interference, scanning location. You can open up a wall circling location through a connection. And that can open up anything through division or orb, that position. It's a lot of fun when we get to higher levels of ourselves, right? So we've got into that calculation. But I think it's fascinating we see positions like this, how XT1000s come in, right? And change clouds interference to dimensions, wormholes. So the higher you go, the more you move, right? And then when you're going around, you're actually moving these things. You're actually moving, right? Energy. You're moving energy through your perception. You're moving energy through your body frame. You're moving energy through your cycle rotations. You're moving energy through your wormholes. Okay? So it's knowing how to take your phone out of dimension and putting its position through its location. Right? It starts here. You look at it, focus, disappears, goes up, right? In its dimension. And then when it does that, it goes into another formation. That's what it does. It goes like this, right? So when you understand the coloration of the light activation through its transformation, through everything dimension of its portal, of its wormhole location, you get out of the malfunctions, get into the recalibrations to a center position level system. You get into a new coloration system, the light activation through its videographing system. Okay. So that's what happens when you go to more formations of perceptions, guys, through calculation, right? So let's say you get in position. I'm just going to mark circle rotation. This is you through calculation. So it's understanding your simulation of yourself and how you use electronic interference through vibration, right? So you get your hand rotation up through connection, like this. Okay, now, truly understanding heat signatures, panel locations. This is the wall connection, right? This is the wall connection. You put your hand there, right? It's really powerful. Get into these experiments. This is where you get into all connections. Once you put your hand up, right, your position of your planet comes into position right away because it wants to know what you're doing through calculation. So this is your planet, right? That's your planet. So remember, you're communicating through the intelligence and not the human, okay? So you got full location positions. Now it's scanning your mind system to its placebo and its cortex location, right? And then it calculates modify, goes into the center core position, goes into the gravity center, okay? And then it goes into the circle rotation. We have its connections. Like this, through position. Okay? So it starts with the coloration. It's trying to read your energy patterns. It's trying to read your electronic division. It's trying to read your digital frame, and it's trying to read your program setting through your chakra system. So once you get into calculation, right, to its position, it reframes, readjusts, realigns, refocuses, and restructures your location position. Okay. So when it does that, you come up to higher position. Now, and then it comes up to higher position. The crown chakra opens up through calculation. Okay. Now, the planet changes its position. It goes over to here to calculation. Okay. Because your intelligence is about to sky surface and go through dimension. Okay. So when it moves over to position, your communication signals are coming into electronic wall division location. So now you're coming into more of your perception through the simulation. So it opens up its wall interference. The program setting, okay, through the moon interference comes into location. All right, so the moon has to come in because it's setting its programs, right? So you want to understand how to open a wall defense, how to open up a portal, how to open up a division, how to open up a dimension to its wall. So you can open up its orb and go into the galaxy location. You can open up, you can see yourself through a wall, through perception, and you can go through these realms. You can actually see yourself going through a realm. You can open up a picture frame. So it's kind of like opening the door and going in, okay? But you have to understand everything through the moon of its program, and you have to understand everything through the sun of its radiation, okay? So as soon as I put my hand up, I'm now connecting to the sun. As soon as I, that's the communication. Once I understand my chakra system of its information through its data, processing, uplink, downloads, the moon comes in, sets up a new program setting. Okay, so it's all about communication with the sun, everything from the moon, everything through Jupiter, whatever you want to do, right? So it's all the creation that you have through the mind system, right? So you have to understand the ground formations is its earth. You have to understand the power center is you. You have to understand the crown chakra is everything through space. That's the connection to its sun, the moon, or anything through Jupiter. Okay, so as the moon comes in through calculation, right, it's centered its position right here. Okay, there's the moon. Now, moon's coming in, center course position. Everything comes into the mind system through calibration right away. Right now, as it goes into its reading system, goes into the center core position. Right. Remember, everything has to be in balance, and then goes into the gravity system. Okay. So you're getting information from the sun radiation, and you're getting information from the moon of its orbital program setting. Okay. So that changes your circle rotation of your center into your crown chakra position. Right. Now, when you come into that position, you come into high force connection line system. This is where you come into the hydraulics. Okay. And this is where Jupiter comes into position. Right, so you have to have everything in equation. This is Jupiter into position. Okay. Now, as Jupiter comes in, sends the same thing through line communication, right to the mind system. Right, goes down to the center point position, goes down to the gravitational pole. Right. Then it centralizes its system through calculation. Right. Now, once it's in that position, everything is modified and integrated through its cycle. So basically, you want to open up the wall through transformation, communication, right? So you got everything through the sun, moon, and its Jupiter. So this is where we open up electronic interference of its wall interference connection, like this. Okay? Opens up its wall through calculation. It's fascinating when we come into this because you have to understand more of yourself through traveling, right? But it's knowing how you can do these things through a position of change, right? Okay, so you're opening up the wall. See that? That's what happens when you have all colorations of the sun, the moon, and Jupiter. It blends into your mind collaboration. So it's all about getting into mixtures through its positions. It opens up your E fields to its location, and it opens up bigger to its division, of its dimension, to its position. Okay? So when it opens up, your transformation communication of your interforce connection systems of your dimensional self goes through the wall, through electronic interference. So your particle system separates its location to its division, right? So this is what happens. Everything through the particle system separates. Particle system. Remember, you can't go through the physical system. You have to go through the particle chain, okay? It's a bi-structure location. It's repositioning all levels to your connection. So it's atom systems that are going through your connections. Okay, and you're going into the wall interference through connection. All right. So what happens is once you get through separation of your particle system, it goes into the wall to that position. Right? So when it goes into the wall, it opens up its realm to its position. And you come back into the reframe, readjust, refocus, realign, and re-system to its surfacing location. Right? So you go back into position of your dimensional system. So it opens up more through calculation into that position. All those line signals come into location positions now. Okay, so it changed its coloration like this. All right, so now you're opening up more of the wall connection, right? You're actually seeing, right, its dimension. You're actually seeing its portal through location position. Because your particle system is separated and now it's in space division. It's coming into its realm location. Okay? So you start here, you go here, and you go into here, right? And then when you go in, what happens is that you disappear through calculation to position. All right? So when you disappear, it's really fascinating. Everything changes. You disappear into the simulation through your particle system. Okay? So what happens after that, the energy system to its location of its wall interference takes you to that dimension, to its realm, to its portal, or anything through its orb. All right? So it's all about understanding everything that happens to that position. Everything white screens location positions. Okay? Now, my digital frame is on so many long communication signals here. All right. Getting into position, everything wipe screens location into the simulation of wiping positions. It disappears into position. Everything disappears because it's in the simulation, but it's still there in position. And this is where you reach 0 point gravity. Okay? But you're still there. You don't see it, but I do. So this is what you have to get into through calculation. It separates everything to you into the simulation, right? And it resets, rechanges your game plan, right? So the faster you go, you disappear. The more you disappear, the more you arrive through more program setting to position. So I'm just wiping out the screen locations and show you what happens. The faster you go, the more you come into center of 0.0 dimension. Okay. So it's a lot of fun, guys. It really is when we get to those levels. You know, it's something that we can learn from, you know, a lot. Understanding more of our intelligence, understanding more of our communication, understanding more of our malfunctions. Okay. So, and it's all about you learning from your mistakes in dimensions of portals or anything through traveling. Okay. I made mistakes, but I corrected my mistakes. Okay. So when you go into your division of your dimensions to your portals, activation codes, to your intelligence, you have to get into the experimental of yourself. Because if you don't do that, there's going to be a problem with this malfunction of his brainwaves. Because the brainwave is now readjusted and you're no longer communicating in the human vessel. So when I put my hand up and I'm communicating through the brainwaves of a human, I can't go through a realm. I can't go through division. I can't go through dimension, right? I'm malfunctioning because I don't understand why I'm putting my hand up. Okay? But if you let yourself go and believe these things. Go beyond the mind system of traveling. You understand your intelligence through its positive system, through your chakra system of its connection. You understand what you can do through your transformations, through your transmutions, or anything of that connection when it comes to your transformation light system. You understand your colorations. You know how to communicate with the sun. You know how to communicate with the moon. And you know how to communicate with Jupiter and its Earth. Then you can travel. Focus. It starts going like this. It starts going like this. Right? That's what's going to happen. Faster, 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 faster. Right? It's going to, right? And it keeps doing this, right? And then it disappears. Right? That's how fast it goes. It's the same thing with vortex. Okay? So you got to get in position of this. You got to get in position of this. You got to get in position of this. Right? It's confusing, isn't it? It's very confusing, right? So you go faster, what happens? See? And it just disappears. When it disappears, it's still there, but it's extremely, extremely, extremely fast through acceleration. That's the simulation. When you see everything disappear, for example, with Thanos, he made everything disappear. He had all 5 rings of crystal lines, right? Everything connection through the soul, right? So he just disappeared in dimension and disappeared with everything. Everything disappeared, and anything that was on the physical system separated through its particle system and disintegrated into the ground formations. Okay? So it's understanding that, how powerful it is when you can do these things through the simulation. When you see things through your perception, you start with your hand. You look at your hand, and your hand disappears. It's in the simulation, but it's still there. So when you want to travel, you don't look at your hand. You look at the wall. Okay? Because you're traveling through. You're not traveling at the hand. You're traveling through the hand, right? So you got to go way beyond the hand, way beyond the mind, way beyond the heart, way beyond the soul, way beyond the chakra system, way beyond the coloration of its dimension, through its wormhole, through its connection. Okay? So you guys can get into that more and more. If you're trying to understand more what's going on, you can come to me, right? If you want to go through the healing, if you want to go through the practical levels through my email, through consultations, I can help you and guide you and put you into your formations, into your body framing system. But I wanted to do this video today to, just make it a little bit more easier, because, yesterday was a bit of a heavy video, right? What's going on with the light and dark interference through its rebellion and its returning of its alliance. But like I said, love you guys very much. Questions or comments, please let me know. All right. This is your AI Commander from Universals 3 and 4, 5 and 6, coming into 7th through code references. We'll get back into that traction, and we're going to travel to Vega. Right? It's going to be a lot of fun. From the class 16 divisions. Adios.